Around.
Yeah, I got it.
I mean, yeah.
So I think it's recording.
Yes, it is already recording.
I was riding in my car, screaming at the light, screaming at the dark, screaming at fright. I wasn't doing nothing, just driving about, screaming at the dark, letting it out. That's all I was doing, just letting it out. Well, along comes a motorcycle, very much to my surprise. I said, "Officer, was I speeding?" I couldn't see his eyes. He said, "No, you weren't speeding." And he felt where his gun was hung. He said, "Lady, you were screaming at the top of your lung." And he was doing it, you were doing it alone, you were doing it alone, you were screaming in the dark in the 20-mile zone, you were doing it alone, you were doing it alone, you were screaming. I said, "I'll roll up all my windows, don't want to disturb the peace. I'm just a creature who's looking for a little release." I said, "What's so wrong with screaming? Don't you do it at your games, when a quarterback breaks an elbow, when the boxer beats and maims. But you were doing it alone, you were doing it alone, you were screaming in your car in a 20-mile zone, you were doing it alone, you were doing it alone, you were screaming." I said, "Animals roar when they feel like." I said, "Why can't we do that too? Instead of screaming bonsai baby in a war, in a human zoo." He said, "I've got to take you in now. Follow me right behind, and let's have no more screaming like you're out of your mind." So he climbed aboard his cycle, and his red-eyed headlight beamed, and his motor started spinning, and his siren screamed. He was doing it alone, he was doing it alone, he was screaming on his bike in the 20-mile zone, he was doing it alone, he was doing it alone, he was screaming. I was doing it alone, I was doing it alone, I was screaming in my car in a 20-mile zone, I was doing it alone, I was doing it alone, I was screaming. We were doing it together, we were doing it together, we were screaming in the dark in the 20-mile zone, we were doing it together, we were doing it together, we were doing it together, we were doing it together alone in the 20-mile zone.
Woo! Bravo! Yay! That was wonderful, Elena.
Thank you. Thank you.
And I've screamed in my car numerous times alone.
Yes, especially now, right?
And
I mean,
we singers were harmonizing with you, right, Pamela? Yeah, I know we were doing that.
It's so true.
yes. So nobody else is in the waiting room. Anyway, okay, well, we're going to have a couple of people reading before you, Melissa, just to warm things up. And I'm so excited that you're here. I'm so excited that you are all here from different time zones. Just thrilling. So, yeah, let's start with the one and only Greg Bell.
Oh my.
Yes.
Okay. Well, I'm going to go with a pandemic poem, which, by the way, as soon as I finished it, I sent it out, and within 24 hours, I got a notice back from the 9 muses in Wales that she would like to, I think she called it go live with it on September 20th. This was in March. So I waited and waited and waited, and the website went moribund. I hope she's all right and that she did not succumb to the pandemic. But anyway, this is a pandemic poem called Juiced. Finally jumped the car with my neighbor's help, saving a trip from AAA in the piggy bank. And on my way to Trader Joe's, I consider the progression from safer at home to social distancing, solitude to anxiety to isolation, quarantine to sequestration to lockdown to going bonkers. And on it goes, not letting up as I realize I'm cutting it close on time because it takes time to wipe everything down. But then zoom looms at 6 as I roll over the 405, normally bummer to bummer, now an open field of 10 lanes for random lane change sprees. And then I'm there, put on my mask and ease into safety mode as I don my protective bubble, mount my hovercraft to stand in line. Not too much time, not too bad, not too... Why doesn't she move up? Oblivious guy behind me on his cell was really crowding me. Soon I'm in and following the stream. What the... Guy with panic in his eye, can't he see the arrow points the other way? Then I hover on over to the safest aisle to contemplate my choices when I feel an elbow graze my back, a butt cheek flush brushes mine, piercing my bubble. Oh, I'm so sorry, says she, red-faced, having backed up to turn around, and after momentary consternation, we laugh together.
Thank you.
We weren't sure. We're so COVID spooked. We weren't sure.
Oh, that was so great.
I survived.
That's
Fantastic.
a bit of
He didn't want
great
to,
acting, actually.
he didn't want to let the Greg out of the bag.
Yes, I mean, when there's this moment between the end of a piece and, it's just like holding in midair. It's
That
pretty
silent
magical.
pause was powerful at the end.
Yes. Well, thank you.
Thank you all.
Claire, would you
And
like to?
true,
Clare
and
Chu.
true.
Welcome from Palm Springs, right?
From Palm Springs, yes. I was just wondering if we have a curfew or not, but don't know.
I think it's
Okay, this is a poem that I'm sort of still working on. It's coming towards being finished, I think. She knows where the snakes sleep. Stop, she says to Hobbs, her pocket-sized dog. Don't growl, there's no one to chase away. Daily, Hobbs hovers near the door, then circles his water bowl to sit, to stare straight ahead. Some nights, when she is alone, always alone, but for the dog, she waits for a pounding at the door. Some nights, jarred by the bits and ends of her dreams, she would allow a stranger into her bedroom, have them hold her naked beneath the sheets. Some nights, when the stars wheel in the sky, she lets herself into her bedroom, wraps her jade bones around a thin top of skin, kneels down by the bed to pray. One day, when her daughter was small, she told her, "Do not talk to strangers. There is stranger danger outside." Afterwards, when she walked her to school, the girl tugged on her arm, pointed at men, asked again and again, "Is he a stranger? Is he a stranger?" Once home, her daughter held her, captive with a hug, said, "Well, what does a stranger look like? Will a stranger hit me? Does a stranger live in a brick house? Is a spider a stranger?" What her mother wants to say is, a stranger is your father, your uncle, our neighbor, a teacher. She never answers the girl's rush of questions. What she wants to say is, a stranger is the man I was married to for 20 years, or a friend once dear to me who has slipped away into exile. Thank you.
Mm. Thank you. Thank you, Claire.
Beautiful.
Vashin, do you have something?
Yes, thank you, Elena.
Thank you.
Union Station ticket agent, Juanita O'Brien, brass name tag, lacquered black letters, bottom chipped off the A. Pinned on her jazz blue tunic, nugget of sleep cornered in one doe eye. Her man Jimmy laid track for a while, drank tanks of brew before he flopped one spring night in an outskirt of Barstow, where she found him under her trailer windowsill, loose boots snoring in morning glories. Between his jig and her lagrimas, the couple had enough time together to whelp Mabel and Flo before he and his bucket of stale starts fumed back out on the rails. Tonight, as Juanita sweeps change from the cash drawer, Super Chief wails Jimmy's Serenade, another late arrival at track 2 after issues with a big rig in Rialto. That's the end.
Thank you. Thank you, Basheen. Mulțumesc. Okay. Sally Stevens. It's so great to see you.
Thank you. It's nice to be here. This is
And
kind of,
you're going to be featuring with Gary Stockdale in December, right?
I think that's what we talked about. I think
Yes.
so. Yeah. So this is called Countries Within Countries. Why? Here, take this bomb and send us some money. We have sold bombs to your enemies. It is our business, nothing personal. We must compete. We have so many bombs to sell. It is a job creator, the building of bombs. It is a destroyer of life, of property, of nations, of someone's paradise. But we do not care. We have bills to pay. It is our business, nothing personal. What is war about? Why do buildings crumble, these streets piled with debris of someone else's world, of a more peaceful time, of someone's roof, a child's bed, someone's world? Who is the enemy? People die. It is nothing personal. You choose to be on that side of the border. We know nothing about borders, really. It is just our business. We make bombs. They kill people. It is nothing personal. The end.
Wow.
Thank you.
Wow.
Wow. Cristina. Thank you, Sally. Thank you. Thank you so much. Cristina, all the way from Colorado.
Yes, Denver. Hello, everyone. Elena, thank you for hosting this and inviting me. So I just survived a week of teaching totalitarianism and I'm exhausted. So I wrote this very long-winded poem inspired by related feelings. But I'm only going to read the first page because that's the only page that's really poetry. And for those who I didn't see before when I featured, I'm Romanian American. My father fled communist Romania, and that's what this poem is about. Meaning me being Romanian American and the fact that he fled communist Romania. It is entitled "A Comment on My Luxurious Life on the West Side of the Iron Curtain." Our family had one wood-paneled minivan. When we went out to eat, it was to the local Chinese restaurant where the family that owned it considered us family, and their daughter always sat with us and grew up with us. When I drop by there when I'm in town, Joyce is the one running the restaurant now, with her own baby on her hip. My father still wears the same pair of khakis every day. Our family has an aversion to jeans. He owns a pair now secretly that he bought in Turkey. They sit in his closet. In preschool, we had a class play about construction. all construction workers had to wear jeans. I stood out in my yellow sweatpants. The photos that the mom of my 4-year-old best friend, Peter, has shown me recently as proof. American Bejans, no jeans, but Romanian Bejans, they were the luxury. Jeans were one of the items we sent in care packages to Galatz in the 1980s. Galatz is a shitty industrial city on the Danube River that my dad is from. His family trapped there, starving, spied on, angry, envious, seeing their American family in color photographs while they still existed in black and white, yearning to burst free from communism into color, into the West, and into our hearts and lives. But they fucked it up. Why does communism always fuck shit up? Gulag, disappearances, secret police, abortion ban, and lies. All the words that are used under communism don't mean what they say. Like, for example, communism doesn't mean what it is meant to. All these regimes told the world that they were socialist. But we all know, East and West, that police states, dictatorships are not socialist. Nothing in the Soviet sphere was of the people. And I will stop there. Thank you.
Thank you.
Boona, multimac.
Thank you, Cristina. Okay, Lois, you've disappeared. Lois? No. Okay. Flavia, do you have, oh, Lois, would you like to read?
Unmute Lois.
I'm unmuted.
Not now.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Melissa, what time is it over there now? Are you there, Melissa?
It's 10 after 11.
Okay. Thought it might be like 2 a.m. or something. What the time
Feels like it after this day.
Okay, so let me find some very quick. Okay, all right. So some of you know I'm writing a series based on Rilke's housekeeper who lived with him at Museau in Switzerland for the last about 5 years of his life. So they're persona poems, and this is from the viewpoint of her. Her name's Frida Baumgartner, which ironically, she shares the same name with my mother. Okay. So it's called Only the Moon Holds Her Entrances and Exits. I don't believe what my body says. The whole of me too tall for most men. My voice, a wounded animal. A body that holds in forks and knives and pokers for the fire. Blue coals alive with dusk. I don't believe its cries and moans and cracks of thunder hushed between the lips. If an orchid can transform from hard bulb by the grace of rain and light, let it find flowering in the moist ground of your silence. Let it bloom not from photosynthesis, but desire. And let the body enter, holding love under the tongue, its sublingual light, a faint disk against the shift to rose, dissolving and lighting this throat. Let the body be the beautiful dark butterfly coming significantly and expressly toward you from the dimly shining windows in a ballroom of guests. Let me slip between the cracks of your closed door to be touched the way the butterfly holds your finger, landing soft as sorrow as rain.
Oh, yeah.
Beautiful. Thank you.
Thank you.
Beautiful.
Beautiful, beautiful. Thank you, Lois. Karen, are you ready to play?
Yes, I'm ready. I'm ready.
Please welcome Karen Spritzler.
So it's Joni Mitchell's 77th birthday. And in one of the other Zooms, we did a tribute to her. And I always loved Joni Mitchell, but I was, in learning these new songs, I was just blown away by what a genius she is creating images. And so I really think that Joni Mitchell is appropriate for a poetry group because she is such an amazing poet. But I am going to sing the song. It's called Marcy. Marcy in a coat of flowers steps inside a candy store. Reds are sweet, greens are sour, still no letter at her door. So she'll wash her flowered curtains, hang them in the wind to dry, dust her tables with his shirt and wave another day goodbye. Marcy's faucet needs a plumber, Marcy's sorrow needs a man. Red is autumn, green is summer, greens are turning in the sand. All along the ocean beaches, staring empty at the sky, Marcy buys a bag of peaches and stops the postman passing by. Summer goes, falls to the sidewalk like string and brown paper. Winter blows up from the river, there's no one to take her to the sea. Marcy's faucet Marcy dress is warm, it's snowing, takes a yellow cab uptown. Red is stop, green's for going, she sees a show and rides back down. All along the Hudson River, past the shipyards in the cold, still no letters been delivered, still the winter days unfold. Like magazines fading in dusty gray attics and cellars, make a dream, dream back to summer and hear how he tells her, wait for me. Marcy leaves and doesn't tell us where or why she moved away. Red is angry, green is jealous. That was all she had to say. Someone thought they saw her Sunday window shopping in the rain. Someone heard she bought a one-way ticket and went west again.
Beautiful,
Beautiful song. Wow.
Wow.
beautiful.
Mary.
Beautiful, Karen.
Wow.
So beautiful, Karen.
Thank you, Joni Mitchell. God bless her.
Boy.
Thank you. And now let's welcome Melissa Studdard, all the way from Texas. So Melissa has several collections of poetry. I ate the cosmos for breakfast. I highly recommend it. The poetry chapbook, Like a Bird with 1,000 Wings, and the young adult novel, 6 Weeks to Yedir. Her work has been featured on NPR, PBS, the New York Times, The Guardian, the Houston Matters, and has also appeared in a wide variety of periodicals, including the Harvard Review, New England Review, and Poets and Writers. A short film of the title poem from Studdard's I Ate the Cosmos for Breakfast by Don Sickles and Moxie Pictures was an official selection for the Trinidad and Tobago Film Festival and the Minneapolis-St. Paul International Film Festival, and as well as the winner of the Real Poetry Festival Audience Choice Award. Other poems of hers have been made into car magnets, telepoem booths recordings, and Houston City banners have won or placed in prizes such as the Lucille Medwick Memorial Award for a poem on a humanitarian theme from the Poetry Society of America, the Penn Review Poetry Prize, Jeffrey Smith Editor's Prize from the Missouri Review, Tom Howard Prize from Winning Writers, the Gregory O'Donoghue International Poetry Prize from Munster Literature Center, and Aesthetics Magazine Creative Writing Award. So, in addition to writing, Studdard serves as TUPB Advisory Council, as Walt Whitman Project Planning Associate, as well as she is president of the Associated Writing Program's Women Caucus and former executive producer and host of Vida, Voices and Views. Women in Literary Arts, she received her MFI from Sarah Lawrence College and is a professor for the Lone Star College system. Please welcome the beautiful and only Melissa Studdard.
Oh, thank you, Elena. I just want to start by saying that Elena made all of that stuff up. I'm just kidding. Thank you. It was a beautiful introduction. Okay, I was a little embarrassed though. So anyway, I'm really happy to be here, and I've so enjoyed hearing your poems and your songs so far, and I'm just really honored to be reading among you tonight. So I'm going to start with a poem called Migration Patterns, and I'll just jump in. Migration patterns. In the dream, I tell customs my llama is a goat, because sometimes the heart is not large enough to hold what is beautiful if the mind finds it exotic. Sometimes the mind mistakes itself for a hoarded piece of land, and little campfires spring up everywhere. Smoke slinks through chain link. Small hands and shoulders capsize beneath a dehydrated, salt-sick sun. In the dream, I carry mountains through international waters. I carry the hills, their babies, to safety. Sorry. I'm sorry, I lost my place. My computer crashed earlier and I just got it back and it keeps blanking out. I'm so sorry. Okay, so I carry the hills, their babies, to safety. Sometimes I wave away a predator and there is fire in my hand, and my hand does not want to be part of a human body. It wants to belong to the llama, the goat, the hills, the mountain. In the dream, I've got the North Star in my trunk. I'm driving it across a border. I'm taking it to a different part of the sky. It can't stand what it has seen. What we need is not a fixed point. What we need is a world anthem that everyone knows the words to. One that says, come in, come on, come over. I've got you. In the dream, light leaks from thin cracks where the trunk door meets the body of the car. The star says, put me on the dashboard and I will guide you. The officer says, illegal. You can't take a star to another part of the sky. And I say, watch me. I say, I've got enough light to do anything. You. I want to say before I go to the next poem, oh my God. In the hour before I came here, my computer crashed and I barely got it back up running. My light bulbs went out. So I started a lamp and it fell on the floor and the bulb is shattered all around me. And I was like, what can I do? I'm a poet. So I made a martini and I came. Amidst the broken glass. I mean, this is 2020, right? We just have to show up anyway. And I can't think of anywhere I'd rather be than with all of you poets tonight. So the next poem is called Choose Your Own Ending. 1, you learn to forget that you've done anything wrong. Forget the cats you couldn't save. Forget the human you broke like a horse and abandoned. You swim all night with your own shadow. Inside the building, someone prays beneath a prophet's tongue, the prophet that sleeps like a kitten next to the splintered leg of a chair. 2, too fast around the bend, the orange convertible. Find the knife hidden inside your body, cut yourself out. Invent the language of wishbones released from cages. 3, the poem wears a crucifix to honor you. You dip it in water and it tells you the secrets of warm, late summer rain and how bodies can forget to be bodies, how they can just float away. Now you know what it means to be a kite owned by a kid who loves you enough to let go of the string. 4, a wisp of breath magnificently surrendering to angels. 5, not a hyena, not a broken pane in a French door. It's something else that cracks you. The tender, dimpled, 6-year-old grandchild hand extending the child's favorite toy on your birthday. How some of us are willing to give until there are no more cakes to slice into pieces. 6, it was you who placed the dead cricket beneath the incense. You who read the changing light patterns on the wall. You who broke the snowflakes into a billion different galaxies, a billion different letters and an unknown alphabet. It was you who became the divine language on the divine tongue. 7, with a sudden blithesome charm, the way if you hold up a mirror to a baby, the baby goes still with a giggle or a sigh. That's done.
Oh,
Thank you.
fantastic.
It's hard to tell when that one ends, I'm sure. The next one is called I'm Not Exactly Sure When the Forest Turned. And I was thinking of all of you during the forest fires and reading about it and just feeling so much for you all. And this is what came out. So I'm not sure exactly when the forest turned into a burning cathedral, but I have seen the animals inside it released to the sky like a soul leaving a body. I wore a paper bag on my face to their unofficial funeral, something to hyperventilate into, to remind myself that I still have lungs beneath the heat, beneath corona, still have lungs inside the chokehold of law enforcement gone awry. I walk into what's burning and burn myself with it, because every time I view the news, there's another story to bandage, another tragedy to bury. I can't plant fast enough. The trees in my yard, the heart in my garden, the words that could be a conduit for some lone moment of grace. Can't plant fast enough to make up for what is lost in a year, a decade, a lifetime when no one can breathe. At the edge of compassion, I circle and look for a trail. I resuscitate a memory of who we were before we caused this. I study it all, study nothing, study life and death and the enclosure of an atmosphereless world. I recall a human who is part of nature, not a lord of it, and I step into the thicket like a deer before the first hunter was born. So I decided I needed to bring you up a little bit. So I'm going to read something a little lighter. This one is called Modus Operandi. I put ranch dressing on the Greek salad. I stand in my front yard in the rain and yell, I'm the biggest waterfall in this desert. When people invite me to parties, I say no, then show up anyway. I bring my cat dressed in a graphic t-shirt with an image of another more attractive cat. I tell everyone I've just returned from my honeymoon, and when they ask to see pictures, I show them the 1855 edition of Leaves of Grass. I like kissing people I don't know, sending flowers to random addresses and signing the card, Love God. I'm a window cracked in the rain. My name is sitting down and standing back up for no reason. My motto is wings flapping. You should come back into my room if you miss me. I'll be there soon. I'm 1,000 miles away on a different bed. So I think everybody needs a pandemic poem tonight. I think that's where our minds are. So this is called You Say Cognitive Dissonance. I say I lost my basket full of light. We eat sweetness and that's it. We don't just make lemons into lemonade. We make them into adult beverages featuring lemonade or popsicles or lemon meringue pie. We worship in line at Costco, where we find 7,000 boxes of enlightenment, nutrition labeled. We worship in an empty lot where lime green frogs call to lime green birds across a dry cleaner's parking spot. When we cross and uncross our legs, we unleash ourselves the way a sigh out of rhythm with the rest of breath becomes a bluebird flying into another color. The truth is, we are really just here to revise each other's dreams, to tap the anthem of survival on our pots and pans and sink from our balconies. I dream of boxes that don't need to be sprayed with Lysol before the music stops playing. I dream of workers who return and return and return to redo the same job the way I train my mind repeatedly to a piece I am making up as I go along. Once it seemed life was for touching others. Now we know just how far apart we can stand and still be in love.
Yeah.
Thank you. How am I doing on time, Elena? Maybe one more poem?
Your time. It's just hear it.
Okay, I'll do, let me see. I'll do two short poems. Okay, so the next poem is called All That's Left. Listen, the afternoon will soon fade into affliction and we'll have no choice but to challenge gravity. I've been corralling wind just for this. I wear it like a lapel, and when someone pays me a compliment, I play it back to them. Listen, the earth is burning and all we have left is a plastic Jesus that lived up to its promise to stay intact at any temperature, through any catastrophe. If only I could get a message to the owner of this apocalypse, I'd say, go easier on the advertising. No one likes to see zombies in Louis Vuitton before breakfast. Listen, it's just us here now. Give me your hand. And the last poem is called Ars Poetica. Then my voice filled with ryegrass and clover, under the bridge where gravity broke the horses' necks. I wanted to learn the secrets of mating for life. I wanted to catch the falling hooves in my lungs and pedal air into him. Manes became radiant, the way I myself have been beautiful when broken. The way I myself have understood that nothing is mine. Grief is composed of the scent of rain, the near extinction of buffalo, and the genetic memory of surviving by using the bone of someone you once loved as a weapon. What I mean to say is, when I remember my child falling asleep in the high chair, spoon in hand, a little dribble on the chin, it splits my heart into stanzas that must be written down. What I mean is, if I disturbed the silence, it was only because I cared. Thank you.
Bravo.
Thank you.
Thank you, Melissa. Wonderful.
Yeah.
And stick around, right?
Yes, I'm here. I'll clean the broken glass up tomorrow.
Thank you.
That was also beautiful, Melissa. Thank you.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Bravo, Andy. Bravo.
Now, Flavia, all the way from Canada. Do you have a poem?
I do. This is from the Latin Quarter, published by Madhab Press in 2015.
Flavia Cosma, all the way from Romania.
Long time ago.
Long time ago.
Melancholy. The snow spreads just over the melancholy of yesterday. It snows immaculate over your ardent words, heated red hot to exasperation in the furnaces of your southern continent, where cold means hot and sweet means bitter, or vice versa. Unloved lovers crowd at madhouse gates. A crumpled love squats blackened on a fence. Big watery flakes cover its eyes, and the tears that fancied themselves all alone in the world, falling waves of slanting snow from the sky, together with angels.
Thank you. Beautiful.
Beautiful.
Thank you, Flavia.
Thanks.
Okay, Susan Rogers. Are you here? Calling Susan? Okay. Next time, we'll go around. Ambika, do you have a poem? Ambika?
Almost, but maybe someone else can read for now. Thank you.
Elaine Gale, welcome. Elaine?
Thank you. Hi, Elena.
Elaine just moved here from Santa Barbara, so she's in LA now.
Oh, I'm so happy to be here.
We
so
are
happy to be with all of you tonight in this beautiful work.
Okay, you just muted yourself. Okay. Are you on video, or do you just have a photo, a beautiful sunny photo?
Oh, well, I'm just listening tonight.
You're not reading anything?
No,
My
I'm
goodness.
just here to witness everyone. And I still have packing tape in my hair, Elena.
Okay.
So-
I have to tell you, Elaine and I did a wonderful masterclass with Terry Silverman, solo show, and she has written a phenomenal show, One Good Egg, that Stefania is going to produce, and it will be done here, hopefully at the Pacific Resident Theater as soon as we can get in. So I'm really thrilled, and you must all somehow get to see it because it is incredible.
Thank you so much, Elena.
Thank you.
I'm so enjoying everyone's work tonight. Melissa, that was so brilliant. And Elena, you always gather the most wonderful groups of people. So I'm so delighted to be among them. Thank you.
It's all your work, really. It's all your work, baby. I'm going to read a poem that I just did. It's a work in progress, but I'm always reading the same old poems. But at Lois's suggestion, I did this in Elena Karina Burns' class, and it's always also about my experiences in Romania. It's called It Is Always Evening. She's a scene I could read on my mother's face as I wait in customs for my American passport to be stamped. Bucharest airport feels like Alcatraz prison after living free as a monarch butterfly in London and now Los Angeles. I can tell the officer is a secret police. They all are. Short military hairstyle, intimidating stare, eyeing me to see if I crack. But I'm not about to let any doubt cross my face. I smile. The entry stamp is placed. I go through the barren door onto the next step baggage claim. Did they open my suitcase? Did they ransack through my belongings like the last time when the combination lock was sprayed open? It is always evening. Like a miracle, my suitcase is intact. Mother and Aunt Stella stretched necks, waiting. There she is. Pent-up emotion about to burst. Tears run. Finally, we're in a taxi, silent, not a peep, as I know that most taxi drivers and priests are securitate, secret police. Pitch dark. My suitcase is not only heavy, but awkward as a plashing nun. She's a scene. Darling, my mother starts. I dream of you arriving like the Queen of England, carrying just a handbag. My mother is so right. That would be my dream too. But how can one arrive from the West without carrying a gift for my relatives behind the Iron Curtain? We find a pole threaded through the handle, carry the awkward suitcase with Aunt Stella, stepping in and out of puddles. It is always night when I visit my folks in communist Romania. Pitch dark. Dogs bark all around. Soon we will be home. Home, which is no longer my home.
Beautiful.
Thank you. Now, how are we doing? Pamela, are you ready for a song? Are we ready for
Oh, would you like me to sing?
Yes, please.
Okay, wonderful then. Because I was going to read, but I can definitely sing. I'll just sing this song that just came to my mind, because I was going to sing a sad song, but I thought I personally don't want to feel sad. I really don't. So I'm going to sing a song that is much more the way I live my life. And I truthfully, I'm not sure who wrote it, but it's when you wish upon a star, makes no difference who you are. Anything your heart desires will come to you. If your heart is in your dream, no request is too extreme. When you wish upon a star, like dreamers do, fate is kind. She brings to those who love the sweet fulfillment of their secret longing. Like a bolt out of the blue, fate steps in and sees you through. When you wish upon a star, like your dream comes true. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Well, Pamela,
Thank
you did it again. I'm swooning again. Are you happy? I'm levitating off my chair again. Are you pleased, madam? Oh my God, that is only my favorite song and my favorite singer. So thanks a lot, sister.
Thank you.
Lovely. Lovely as always. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Okay, so
Elena, would
yeah.
it be all right for me to share that I have a show in 2 weeks? It's
Absolutely.
okay?
Yes, 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 yes. Do
Oh,
it.
wonderful. Well, one of the things that's been keeping me sane beyond these Zooms with such beautiful people is the ability to continue to perform live as a singer. And, you know, for those of you that have come to my shows, I'm always singing somewhere, you know? And so I'm very grateful to be in the family of Metropolitan Zoom now, which is a wonderful group in New York that was the former Metropolitan Room. And now they're showcasing singers through their platform, Metropolitan Zoom. And next, in 2 weeks, Saturday, December 5th, from 7 to 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, I'm doing my show Home for the Holidays. It's going to be holiday songs. I'm also doing some original songs, and I would love it if you could come. Also, percentage of the tickets will benefit the Thalians that help the wounded and suffering veterans. And thank you so much, Elena, for allowing me. If you'd like to come, just punch in Pamela Clay, Home for the Holidays on Google, and it'll come up. Thank you. Thank you.
Yes, by all means, if anybody has announcements to make, please do. We're all a big family here. So, okay, Dayna Hodges, welcome.
Hi. So much beautiful expressions tonight. Thank you all. And thank you for Melissa. What a beautiful feature.
Thank you.
This is an older poem. And I found it again. It came up in memories. So I thought I would read it. It's called Acrobatics of Unfolding. A carnival of voices trapeze through atmosphere, permeate like an invasive mist, tumble with prism refraction. Like a chameleon, I blur into cacophony, looking for someone to catch me lest I crash through the net and fracture with stained abandonment. As broken communication takes center stage, disguised in cinematic chaos, I step into character, camouflaged in stage makeup. When human is dismissed and performance is preferred over authentic, attractive derails into blemish. After the show, when the audience has scattered, the circus tent is empty, and the floodlights that followed my every requisite gesture have gone dark, I take center stage, undress from my costume, let my tears wash away my face paint, and cry myself back to me. That's all.
Pamela.
Pam, can I keep you, wait, Pamela, can I keep you in my pocket for just the weekend? I need this.
Oh,
I think
please, please
No, you have
do.
to share her with me.
There's enough of me for everyone.
Excellent. There we go. Share.
You know, one of my husband, I would love if he would participate. He's the most incredible poet. And one of the reasons I fell in love with him was his poetry. And he wrote this incredible song, which is also, because he's also a musician, that he put to music. And that's one of the things that he, in the poem, in the song is, ever the love is ever expanding circles. I can't think of the words right now because I feel like I'm taking too much time, but it's true. Love is ever expanding. It never stops. There's always more. That's what's so wonderful about love. It's ever expanding. No limit.
Yes, 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 yes. All about love.
Pamela, you just wrote a poem. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Susan Rogers, are you in? Ambika, are you in?
So I'll read a poem.
Please do.
And of course, I'm going to follow Pamela's love seed. Let me open this, if I remember where it is. I don't know. So I'll read something else in the meantime. It's an old one called Wonderful Things. Being engaging without attachment. So free I am and more. How love sings in my particles. Wonderful thing. How this howling wind insists and skies overcast are like nothing before that could have mattered, pushing LA. Wonderful thing, did you say? Yes, so I heard. A storm must strum, chorus of guitars, sitars, zither, rolling drum in blackening sky. Wonderful thing. Catch it by the corner of your eye, if you must, and then do not forget, lacy waves grabbing moon rays by the fickle ocean, while men and women sit by fish chips bar, make merry talk of gain and loss, grilled salmon and the albatross of chemicals being caught by law. It is a wonderful thing that we can hum loudly in silencio and remember beauty in its pristine places. Oh, wonderful thing, wonderful thing. I cannot nor wish to cry, for so free I am, natural state of being. How she, cosmic strings, essentially weaves my being. I arise as desire for nothing, wonderful thing. How your gaze smiles, I see it from the back of your head, wonderful thing.
Oh, beautiful.
Ah.
Oh.
How's Susan back? Hi, Jimmy. Hi, Jim Bolt.
Hey there.
Are you reading?
I'm good. I'm good. What a just an enriching and fulfilling evening I happened to join tonight.
Do you happen to have something up your sleeve?
And I do. Please forgive the absence of video coverage, if you will. There are some things in view belonging to someone else that I'm not at liberty to share. But I do have something for you. Hold on a second. You can tie your Appaloosa up to a pine tree, and she'll be there when you get back. But if you tie her up to a eucalyptus, pardon me, she will shimmer off over dry river plateaus to run with the wild horses of Colorado. This tree can be deceptive, with all that papyrus bark flaking off here and there, with twists and extensions, contortions and contractions, torso spiraling this way and that. You can underestimate just how big and sturdy and enduring are the eucalyptus. So expressive, it can be hard to give them their due. Powder, pastel, whitish, bluish, greenish, imaginary sage tones. Are they really trees? If a tree is where earth and air and water and sunlight fuse to become oak, then eucalyptus must be where earth and air and water and sunlight fuse to become sheets of stars and filaments of galaxies. They are more an infusion than a tree. And you can make an infusion of eucalyptus oil, which will clear your sinuses, refresh your mind, and allow you to infuse more of the element known as air into the earth and water and sunlight of your being, allowing you to verge more extensively through endless dimensions What could be better than that? I used to lead eco tours through Coldwater Canyon Park, hiking daily through all the different species, past the same parade of sycamore, pepper, pine, and even redwood. But I was always stop up short at the eucalypti. What is this dance they are performing? What unseen winds have inspired them? What are they reaching for? What do they see? What do they imagine? And how could I become so fully infused, so completely committed to the dance, reaching through dimensions, past fields of stars? How could I become solid movement? Eucalyptus, 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 eucalypti. And there you go.
Fun. Thank you. Thank you, Jim.
Thank you for this wonderful group. Ah,
I know. They're from all time zones, really.
and also for your lovely red roses on your, the wreath on your head, Elena.
Thank you. Thank you. I wish they were real, but
You make them real.
thank you. Hi, Jimmy.
Hi, hon.
Okay, Susan, are you ready? Susan? Okay. Jimmy, do you have anything, Jimmy Hall?
Yes, actually, I'm spur of the moment kind of person, but I do have a poem I could do a short one.
Okay.
It's from, this goes way back, guys. This is 10 years by Brendan Conover. He wrote a play for me. I was in Cherry Lane Theater, and Brendan was a wonderful poet. He's what I know mostly about poetry. He committed suicide in 1969. And so here's one of his poems. Proposals for a new society. Quote, Justin means this is the way things are. End quote, James Scully. A proposal or two then from an old legislator. If everyone on this reviving grave were trained to sing one high note at noon precisely, the concert would bring God down. The feast is all around us. Death by lightning and other visionary activities would be encouraged as the world, would be encouraged as would tender care for the beasts we eat. A cow that's been loved tastes twice as good at table. Crimes will be merely eccentricity. The killers and victims alike left like undiscovered collisions to rot along the Southern Highway. In high school citizenship, I got an A. But I knew justice, like poverty, is irrelevant to poet legislation. When I'm president, I'll electrocute everyone who's not a poet and then go into exile seeking new friends who will die for beauty. Brendan Conover, 1969.
Wow.
Wow. Thank you. Thank you, Jimmy.
Thank you, hon.
Glad you're well.
I was late, but I'm glad I'm here now.
That's okay. It's all right. So I'm still calling Susan.
Calling Susan.
Calling Susan? Okay. Moving on. We're here, Susan.
I was gonna say calling Philip Morris, Philip Morris.
RJ, would you like to?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Please bear with me. I threw my back out. I know I sound like I'm a century and a half old, but it is what it is. This poem is entitled Lazy Days for Dayna. Lazy days and warm breezes swept away, watching ripened apples in the trees bob and sway. A hat upon your head, a bouquet basket of summer flowers. As you and I, tete-a-tete, while away the glowing hours. A hawk is rotating in circles, high above our chimney flue, like a clock marking the time over the verdant pasture view. Chairs rocking in unison on a porch, aligned by two, will always remind me of those lazy days set with you.
Thank you.
That's beautiful, Jeff. Thank you.
Thank you.
Welcome, Tay.
Okay, now is Ellen maybe still here? Is anybody that is not on the screen still sort of in the second wall still here? Okay. Now, from the new people that I don't know, would anybody else like to read? Maya, do you read? Yes. See, I guessed right.
I'm here. I'm here actually.
I would like to read.
Okay, Maya's going to read next, and then you're going to read after Maya.
I'm so nervous. Right. I'm not really a poet. I started writing poetry like probably a year ago, but I've written mainly for youth actually and people in recovery. But this is one dedicated to one of my daughters. It's called Love Me. I didn't know it off by heart, so I'm sorry about that. She was a radiant, shimmering jewel, encased in a net, broke out into hell, a rational blur, jumbled synapses in a haze of meth. Pure and sassy, don't fret. The journey was incredible. She expendable. Soul lost, sucked in, trapped in the creation, numb, unaware. Oh, the sorrow of the shimmering jewel. She was a pure white porcelain pearl, stuck in her shell, born into royalty, broke out into hell. Not some fairy story waiting to be inhabited, heartache and broken dreams. In crevices, corners, humanity lurks, unseen, unknown, embracing, dirt, gravel, a maze trapped in her mind. Struggle, sadness, broken dreams. Love me, don't retouch me.
Thank you. Beautiful.
Would you like another one, or should that's just one? Yes.
Thank you. Well, we get a second round for those staying, but thank you anyway. Beautiful. Susan Rogers.
Hi, I don't know what happened. I tried to join 3 times and there was some snafu, but at least Lois got me.
You're
So
here.
I was trying to decide what to read. Can you hear me?
Yes.
I can't hear myself because I have a little ear ache going on, but so I have things in my ears. But I'd like to read a poem for a friend of ours named Cathabella, because I just noticed that on her website that it's her birthday in 3 days. So which is, I guess, November 23rd. So this poem is dated for Cathabella in September, but actually her birthday turns out to be November. So this is called For Cathabella in September. You are already here, for you are more than a name that tells of you. Present or not, in the gardens that you wander, you are every season, every fluttering petal on flower, or signature hat, butterfly wing, and sailing leaves of dancing trees. Warm wind and chill of coming fall, no matter to the glint in your searching eye, seeing shadows on the ground and shadows in the air alike with wonder. You who have arrived in this cherished garden to harvest tomato and pepper, gather colors in your arms, fire engine red, shimmering gold, so you can write them into fragrant verse, They all know you have come to honor them. Share their juice with eager poets. You who fly down garden rows, looking for invited guests, bow to all, and to the lucky ones whisper, thank you, as you take them from the vine, perfect in the sunlight of your hand.
Beautiful. Thank you. Thank you, Susan. Now, Stephen Miller.
Yeah,
You have something there?
I do. I just gotta pull it up here. Thank you for inviting me. I'm willing to take any version of community I can get these days, and be very happy about it.
I know you've been through a lot.
Yeah, well, today I got to hang out with my cousin's daughter, and she wanted stories about her family. And I said, the first thing you have to know is that whereas most families have skeletons in the closet, in our family, they were out dancing on the front lawn. Of 5 siblings, 2 have mental illness. And I always feared that was going to be my lot. And then realized actually one day that it was kind of my ace in the hole. So this is called Paper Slippers. Come fetter me, psychosis. Snatch me from the running game. Strap me backwards across the chest. Shackle me to chain gang walk, please. Sneak me across the border. Don't make me do the heron dance or rummage with the rubby class in Mad Dog swill and tar-stained hands. Sweep me into dustpan heap. Coddle me in padded cell. Feed me to the shrinking man to peer at me through hollow hole. Dish me morning cup of marbles. Humor me with finger paint and toothpick house. Yank this trigger fist from my bullet brain. Curl me from the smoking plane. Then shuffle me off to steamed sheets and hollow fill pillow. Thank you.
Thank you, Steve. Excuse me. Thank you. Thank you so much. Okay, so is Ellen maybe here still? No, I don't think she is. So who else hasn't read and wants to go? Oh, yes, of course. Sorry, I'm so sorry. Judy Barrett. Of course.
Hi. Okay. This is a piece called Unchained. I slipped a note into a crack in the western wall, which perhaps no one will ever see. And even if someone finds it, they'll never know it came from me. I wrote about my anguish at the many things I've lost and the friends and family ripped away throughout the Holocaust. The pain of those memories lives on even after all these years. And though time has eclipsed those wounds, they still bring me to tears. I'm not enslaved as my ancestors were, though that horror still remains. But I take pride in the strength of all of those whose blood courses through my veins. But I will not forever relive a past which by fortune was not mine, and instead embrace the progress made, though it's taken too much time. But I am strong and worthy and free of those ancient ties that bind. Freedom beats rhythm in my heart and is my chosen state of mind.
Great, Judy.
Thank you. Wonderful.
Yes.
Freedom. Okay, so who's going to be next?
That's okay.
Jeremy?
Yeah, is it
Anybody?
okay?
Anybody else hasn't had a go?
I have something interesting. I have something if you want to hear one other thing, Elena.
Sure.
I discovered in this book of poems something I was going to read 4 years ago. Can you see it? The Rap Saloon, Friday, April 15th, 2016.
Wow.
It's a short poem by Ronnie Blakely.
All right.
So I waited 4 years to do this, looks like. And I did get a permission, but I'm sure it's okay with Ronnie it's a short poem. But it's so apropos for our time right now, 4 years later. Naivete. Believing in something unsafe at any speed. Open mouth, eat spoon fed. When did it become lies? Always this way. Report falsified. Protect the powerful. See them fall. Blood on the floor. Screams of the dying. Smile. All the while. Mile after mile. Settlements gather on the bottom. Hunger for truth. Don't trust leaders. Make them prove it all night. Thank you, Ronnie.
Thank you.
Wasn't that something 4 years ago?
Rap Saloon. Yes, this is our 111th show reading. So, and I know some of you, like Rasheen, Dayna, have been to just about everyone, really.
Wow.
Yeah, like really. Thank you. Thank you for being here. I mean, like, I'm in awe of all of you. So, Melissa, do you have another poem?
I'm unmuting myself. I can read another poem. Yes, thank you. I wanted to read more upbeat poems, but with my computer the way it is, I'm afraid if I try to open any other documents, it'll completely crash. So let me see if there's anything in this document that I didn't read. Okay, can y'all handle another sad one?
Why not?
Okay.
Anything from you.
Oh, that's so sweet. I do want to say before I read this last one, Elena, you're just a goddess, and I love being a part of anything you do. You're just so warm and delightful, and you just create the most wonderful environment for people to share their work, and I really appreciate you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
Amen.
Yeah. This is called Because Death Bolts Illuminate the Wonderstorm. Cruel, the highway that took the dogs. I've seen its shoulders convulse gently in the crying of nightfall, the way a teenaged girl can be both vicious and vulnerable. It doesn't like what it has done, and I don't like to say it. Sometimes I hold a kaleidoscope to my beloved's eye and ask him to never look at anything again but me. How can I trust a world that hasn't yet honored the softness in his pupil? Is it possible to protect those we love, to protect anyone? I plant plum trees in his heart. I devour his fruits to the pit. Love is sometimes a stay against insanity. The dogs, it was my fault. Trying to help, I scared them into the rush. I live it over and over, the way a body can spill like sunlight from its skin. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Elena, could I read a poem?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So this is a poem I wrote on about the holographic principle. For anyone who doesn't know, that's basically just the theory that we're living in a holographic universe generated by a black hole at the edge of the universe. So the holographic principle. The universe is a boundary between the way our fingers twine and our reflection in the bedroom mirror when you take me for you. That likeness, an echo from a distant black hole, the two of us living in a single moment, squeezed so tightly that neither of us can escape. Imaginary weight added to an illusory barbell that only comes together as a thought experiment. Our blood and sinew and muscle, scattered particles of light. My pride doesn't matter. My love, an invasion of another illusion. You in a simulation torn apart and put back together in so many different ways that neither of us are the same person more than once. If we are cheap imitations bouncing from another, more desirable universe until whatever semblance of the two of us remains is unrecognizable, maybe you're right. My love is unreal. Thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
Fantastic.
I'm sure your love is real.
Yes. Elizabeth Gansky, are you still here? Are you reading anything? It's very hard to see. Ellen, maybe? I mean, she doesn't even have the microphone. So if there's no microphone, I guess she's not here. Okay. Well, we can keep going, right? Elizabeth? Lois, do you have another? Can you unmute yourself? Oh, I love your cat. Can you unmute yourself?
Okay, there we go.
There we go.
Thank you. Sorry, my cat is like really getting intense here.
Oh.
Okay. Sorry. Let me. So this is very new. Again, another one in the series. I actually went to Switzerland with my friend, and we visited Museau, and we vowed that when we got to Museau, we would lay down on the land face down. So this is a poem about that. And it says, Rilke's Museau, Feyras, Switzerland, autumn 2017. And then there's an epigraph from Mark Doty. Looking and looking causes time to open. Weren't our bodies drowsy with the ends of summer? Our minds berry stained with the late Genève evening, limbs still shaky from the long walk on the cobbled streets before we took the train east to Sierre. We traveled like two windows, drawing in the blue of Lac Le Mans and the villages flickering zoetrope before our eyes. Weren't we tired when we finally arrived, lost in the city, until we found the last bus to the Alpine village? We slept in beds above the clouds, night carrying us into its cataract rooms, dream heavy and star-drawn. And in the morning, didn't the innkeeper drive us in his dusty convertible to the winding road of the poet, leaving us with our silence to walk the sloping path? Now past vineyards, butterscotch in the October slant. What do we think it would be like when we finally fulfilled our promise to lay face down on his land? Think about the way we opened into the earth, the land remembering our hips, their sharp triggers pulling us back to where a body lay nearly a century ago, so light with looking. Our bodies vanishing into Earth's insomnia. That's it.
Woo!
Thank you.
Dog too?
Something barked.
Oh, wow. I love Switzerland. That when I went to school there when I was 8 and 9 years old.
Where were you in Switzerland?
Gstaad.
So you were north. Were you north?
I don't know.
Were you in the German speaking part?
I was in the German speaking part. Yeah.
Okay. So I was down in the French speaking part.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a beautiful country.
Oh my God. It's when I smell certain smells, it reminds me of Switzerland, and it's the most beautiful place I have ever seen in my 70 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's a big statement.
Yeah.
I can say that's true of me too.
Wow.
So.
Let's go back.
All right. Tomorrow.
Yeah.
It's wonderful. Yes. We, my husband and I watch Rick Stevens traveling shows, and recently we were watching Switzerland, and my God, the engineering, the sort of traveling through those Alps are just incredible.
It's so beautiful and so safe and clean, and I could walk as a woman at midnight completely on my own and not be afraid. And I don't know, that is really something to be able to do that.
Sure.
Have no fear or thought. Just walk, under the moon and enjoy yourself on a country road. It was really heavenly.
Don't you love the smell of cow shit?
I have a poem about that. I actually
Yes.
love the smell of manure.
Yes, I know.
I know, I do. Yeah, it's good stuff.
But
don't they put it in creams or something? It's good for the skin.
No.
I don't know.
I like the smell of horse shit.
Yeah, that too is good.
Horses are just so absolutely divine.
It is. We love shit.
Well,
we love two shit.
Okay.
Yeah, we like the good.
Where are we going with this?
We like the good shit. There's good shit and there's bad shit.
I mean, seriously.
Yeah. On that note, Roland, do you have anything
The
else?
source of all fecundity.
Wait, what?
Well, you never know.
You never know.
Machine.
Yes. Oh, I hate to interrupt scat.
Scat, yeah.
Take us to Portugal.
Yeah, I don't have a Portugal poem yet. Here's one. Highland Park Film Festival. Rockataca beats on North Figueroa storefronts, tight skirts and wife beaters, salsa as in a velvet painting of naked dancers, their bulges pouted, the kind you buy in Tijuana and hide from your wife until she finds it in the garage. You tell her it was left there behind the folded card table by a homeless. Her resentment simmers slowly like a frog in saucepan water, doesn't notice temperature rising until it's too late to jump, until she feels her mortgage threatened by your lying eyes, and either bolts to her mother's house in Norwalk or beds the pool guy on Monday morning. And you forgive her truancy, not because of anger management or AA, but because when you look into each other's eyes, the memories of fetuses past, repaired credit reports, and a tiny vegetable garden tended as partners reside on the summit of vows made in that bright May marriage of bloods.
Oh.
Wow.
Thank you, Vashi. Thank you. Claire, do you have another poem?
Sure, yeah. It's not about horse shit or anything. So I wrote this poem. This is from my book, The Sand Dune Teacher. And I wrote this poem when I was in Hong Kong during the protests. And the mantra for the protesters was be water, because water is fluid and it's everywhere and it's necessary. So the poem's entitled Be Water. My mother always said, I will die by water. Did she mean beside or in, as in under? It was cancer of the brain that took her in the early hours after the hospice nurse informed me she was hanging on by a single thread just to stay with me. I take her hand as she dies. Through the window, I watch snow fall, sideways, not sticking, turning to slush. A week later, unknowing, my teacher says, there are swimmers and sinkers in this world, and you, Claire, are a sinker. After how many times sinking do you hold yourself down? Outside my classroom, the snow still falls. I open a textbook and write below the title, I will be buried in a cemetery under the snow. My mother's gift to me. Thank you.
Oh, okay.
Wow.
Hey, Mom.
Thank you. So cinematic, so deep. Thank you. Maya, do you have another?
Oh, sure, yes. See here. Okay, this is one I did for youth. Okay. It's called New Beginnings. Depression proliferates, fragile prisons without bars, numbing feelings, slow, low sinking, pounding head, feeling hopeless, hollow, needing inner guidance to follow. A void, a sensation deep in being, no one is seeing. Where did you come from? Where are you going? You're one of a kind, leave the haters behind. Juveniles, victimized, criticized, polarized. How many parents will find their kids missing, hanging by cords from the ceiling? This is no resolution, trying so hard to escape from confusion. Depression over love, bays, just a phase. Hurting, getting too close. Warriors and goddesses, you unappealing. No one understands your feelings. There is someone for you after all. This youth, a temporary existence, leading to an adult persistence. Bring in there, kid. Play it forward in the game. Small successes duplicate. You're strong, I know it. Look outside yourself, see the wealth. Possibilities abound. Does this confound? Be kind to yourself. Never mind the lies that define you in the eyes of others. Be kind, be kind. Invite the light. Bring your talents to the table. Life is not just one dimension. Life meaning you, your dreams create. They're not up for sale. It's not too late.
Yes, never.
Thank you. Judy.
I have to lighten things up. This is a poem that I wrote for my skiing friends. Every year, I belong to a ski club. I'm probably one of 4 non-skiing members of a 400-member ski club. But I wrote this for them. This is called Winter Mistress. As memories of summer fade, winter's chill pervades the air. The leaves have fallen, flowers are gone, the landscape is left bare. We pray for nature's artistry to redecorate the scene when from high above our earthly realm comes the bountiful White Queen. She glistens in the sunlight and gives the night an ethereal glow as on crystal wings she floats to earth, her majesty, Queen Snow. She drapes herself upon the trees, reclines upon the hills in silent invitation to all who would come to test their skills. They stand tense upon the precipice, a tingling in their nerves as they contemplate her beauty and the danger of her curves. Her softness spread across the land, she beckons all to come and play. Will they yield to her or she to them and let them have their way? A masterful seductress, she will titillate and tease, but demands respect at every turn, lest she bring them to their knees. If they comply, not being shy, she'll thrill them to their core. Then comes spring, this clever mistress will leave them wanting more.
Lovely. Thank you. Thank you.
Elena, I'd like to read a horse poem, if I may.
Absolutely.
Does it have manure in it?
We'll leave that for the end.
Is that a pun?
That's a pun, yeah.
This is, I've done some fun work with horses, on the horse healing and all that stuff. They're just beautiful to be with. It's gaze of horse, lure of holiness. Gaze into horse eyes, wind laughs, pulls our hair, presses feet into earth burnt by sun's ancient tales. Something stirs. Shall we dream it into surrender? Shall we rise to zenith with elegant dance, wild joy? Horse will turn away if you are untrue to essence. Bruised, let visions arrive, let flow old sorrows into earth, receding call of distant drums. Inner fire renews hymns, listen to the scales, listen to horse heart, rhythms of hooves in unison with mountain wind wildly curving around us. Lore of horse thrills in us light-flooded halls. We revise our being. Recreate new stories ache. Wild equine poised for flight reveals grandly that despite fear, we can tenderly hold hands. We can rediscover places hidden in dark caverns of our heart where thorn or stone grow forgotten. Horse, cosmos, gardens, flutes, love, forest, trees, greenly full of pine, poems, words drumming. Story of wounded humanity. Horses clear our grime. Let us recall pristine cantos of wild men and women. These are paths to love, to illumination, to loyalty, partnership, fulfillment, beauty, peace, freedom. Gaze into horse eyes. The wind laughs, pulls our hair. Silence stops everything. Taste lure of freedom. Mystic companion of our holiness. Horse simply commands attention. Gaze with horse at the stars.
Yeah.
Yes.
Elena, I have a piece with a particular green shit reference.
Go ahead.
Shite, sir.
Classroom exercise. Separate the blue-eyed kids from the brown-eyed kids. Arbitrarily assign superior status to the blue-eyed kids and watch the brown-eyed kids instantly become shameful or flare out in protest. But what about the 1 or 2 or 3 of us green-eyed kids in the room? The weirdos, the outcasts, the others. How many evil comic book characters have green eyes? The Joker, the Green Goblin, Doctor Doom. Green is the color of envy, jealousy, greed, money, death. But then, green is also the color of the magnificent emerald harmony of the rainforest, the sprout reaching through soil, the living ocean, chlorophyll. My personal shade of green is somewhere between ochre and olive, or as my 7th grade girlfriend put it, shit green. My lovely, mysterious, unnerving shit green eyes. Small-minded, upscale, white, blue-eyed elementary school kids shunned me with the vague pejorative of weird. You're weird. So I gaze back at them through my satanic green eyes and think, you're afraid. Funny thing, though, the brown-eyed kids were never so mean. They always seemed to be a little warmer, more soulful, earthier. Maybe that's why almost all the women in my life have had brown eyes and chocolate brown hair. Those blue-eyed people are so cold and unfeeling, tactical and heartless. They are the ones who should be shunned, so we, the brown and green-eyed people, can co-create a verdant, teeming natural world, green leaves from brown soil where all will be welcome and forgiven.
Thank you, Jim.
Thank you.
Funny. Thank you. Fun.
I forgive you.
Yeah.
We are all forgiven eventually.
Exactly. Susan, are you
Yeah.
here? Do you have another?
Yeah. Okay. So hold on a second. Okay. So it's I'm going on milestone events. So it's actually the anniversary of my mother's passing, which was in November 18th. So I'd like to read a poem for her, but first I have a short haiku for Ambika, because Lois and I just were up in Big Sur and we passed these horses that were these incredible horses that just came to the fence and started kissing us for no apparent reason. So my haiku for the horse was, reaching through the fence, a friendly horse kisses my hand. October grief. Reaching through the fence, the friendly horse kisses my hand. October grief. Okay, and the one for my mother is called Berries and Embers. Once ripe, the first slight wind would shake them down, peppering the patio, cranberrying white brick, until we had to tiptoe past. Crushed underfoot, they bled pink, and under your chair's wheel, drew overlapping circles. By November, they filled every green reaching branch with fruit. Red on the bush, pink in hand, they dried blue. We could not sweep them fast enough. You directed from your chair, crying, get them, sweep them clear. Your nurse smoked filtered cigarettes and threw them in the trash, still lit. When she left, I checked the trash for fire, knowing embers linger. When you cried, don't let them burn, find them all, I thrust my hand into the garbage wraps and peels, reaching deep into the can, and holding glowing cigarettes and burnt prescriptions in one hand, drowned them in a sink of blue until it seemed they could do no harm.
Thank you.
That's a beautiful poem.
So beautiful.
Very
Thank you.
beautiful, Susan. And, you know, like, my
I
heart
love
goes
that
out to
poem.
you. I know what grief is like. So beautiful poem.
You know, Susan, 16th was the 5th year of my father's passing, November. Yes, it was last Monday.
Who was that who talked? Ambika? Oh.
Sorry?
Yes. Yeah. And 17th was the day I got my passport stamped.
What did it say? What did the stamp say? Just
to be able to immigrate to England.
Mm.
So my new life began. And then I left Romania on the 17th, a month later, on the 17th of December. And I just jumped in, 20 years old, without a word of English. I couldn't speak a word of English in a new country. But here I am, and you're all so beautiful. And it's all about trust and love, isn't it?
Yeah.
I
Well,
mean,
you learned fast because you speak beautifully now.
well, thank you. My aunt used to try to deter me, say, oh, you're going to England, you know, they have such class systems and they're so cold. They're going to let you die on the street. You know, it really, I feel sorry for you. Anyway, I didn't die on the street, and I made a point of making friends everywhere I went. And I made sure to ask everybody's name. So I would go to the same grocer. I would go to the same newsagent. And I just felt at home everywhere I went. So, and it's pretty much the same here. You know, if you go to the same places, you get to know people and you.
Yeah.
Elena, would you sing Something Cool?
Sure.
I love that song with you. I remember years ago you sang, and it was so memorable.
Well, thank you. Thank you for asking, and here it is. But we still have a few more to go, so, but you know, since you asked. Something cool, I'd like to order. Something cool. It's so warm here in town, and the heat gets me down. Yes, I'd love something cool. My, it's nice to simply sit and talk a while. And I know it's a shame I can't think of your name. I remember your smile. I don't ordinarily drink with strangers. Most usually sit alone. But you were so awfully nice to ask me, and I am so terribly far from home. Like my dress, I must admit it's very, very old. But it's simple and neat. It's just right for the heat. Save my furs for the cold. A cigarette? Well, I don't smoke them as a rule. But I'll have one. It could be fun with something cool. I bet you couldn't imagine that I one time had a house with so many rooms. I couldn't count them all. I bet you couldn't imagine I had 15 different beaux who would beg and beg to take me to the ball. And I bet you couldn't picture me the time I went to Paris in the fall, or that the man I loved was quite so handsome, quite so tall. Well, I guess it's just a memory I had when I almost forgot, because the weather's so hot and I'm feeling so sad about a date. Oh no, just wait. I'm such a fool. He's just a guy who stopped to buy me something cool.
I love you. Thank you. That's good.
All right.
Something cool.
Yes, I learned that on the set of this movie I did in Rhodes, Escape to Athena, with Elliot Gould and all sorts of other stars. And the hairdresser knew every single song from every musical. So he did that while he was doing my hair, and I just love that song. And it's on my
Be
CD.
London.
Yes, yes. Okay, back to poetry. I see Dayna's yawning. Sorry. Do you have another poem, Dayna?
Yeah, I do. Sorry about the yawning.
That's okay. No, sorry.
Okay. This poem is called Orange Traffic Cone Pillow. Corner of Sunset and Cahuenga Boulevard, 10:48 p.m. Traffic stands still at red signal because Hollywood is the city that never sleeps. Dirty blonde hair of a lost woman entangles drapes over orange traffic cone on sidewalk. At the foot of a movie poster sign, a star is born. This star crashed on the sidewalk. She fades into night. What is her name? Who is she? She lies awake, wiggles her feet, and turns her head looking left, then right, then left. What does she see? Her bike leans against brightly lit storefront window. A collection of medium-sized plastic bags filled beyond their size stand in line behind the bike. Her belongings rest like her. She is lying on the cold cement. Her head is less than a yardstick from the street, where a collection of orange traffic cones are in disheveled pile. A horizontal cone is her chosen pillow, a glimmer of softness in the hard city. We're family. She faces the glass storefront as car exhaust infuses the cool night air. Does she even know where she is? That's all.
Ooh.
Dayna. Dayna.
Dayna, thank you.
Thank you.
Dayna.
Karen.
Bravo.
Thank you, Jeff.
Thank you, Dayna.
Thank you, Dayna.
Thank you.
Elena, can I read one?
I was just going to say, Archie, do you have another? Yes,
Yeah,
please.
if you want, it's okay.
Yes.
I sung in common harmony. I sung in common harmony among the many voices as I tried to sing the body electric, as I tried to walk the road not taken, but my own voice sought me out, and my own feet led me to where you find me now. To you, I'm only a voice out of the past who has sung history's score. Singing the melody of love, I walked on my own path. My flesh now found in the rings of a tree. My breath, the breeze that carries across a boreen. My blood, a bubbling, surging spring. I am no more than as you find me. Listen carefully. Do you hear me singing? Do you hear me walking? Do you hear your own voice in the chorus of mine? That's it.
Thank you, RJ. We hear you. We hear you. Karen, are you still here? Karen Spritzler? I think she's taking a break. I was just wondering if we could close with the song when we're done, but we're not done yet. Greg, do you have another?
I always have another, Elena. Let me see. Since Melissa is here and so far as I know, still with us.
You want to hear Melissa more?
Well, I was going to read a poem that was inspired by her from a, I believe it was a poem excerpt that was used on the back of Missouri Review. And it's just a little bit of background is that I consider myself primarily an eco-poet, and I often find myself getting carried away with my, shall we say, eco-anxiety, climate grief, call it what you want, outrage. And what I got from Melissa's poem excerpts, Melissa, please correct me if I'm wrong, but I think it was the excerpt of a poem.
That's right.
Okay, glad to hear it. was that, for the lyric leap in which you engaged in that piece, that lyric leap has got to be earned. And I hope I learned my lesson. So here it is. It's called Down at the Well. Mornings start off well enough, I guess, a sunny disposition. But in the afternoon, shadows loom with ominous precision. The hurricane is sucking up the sea, so says the weatherman. Well, the world is burning fast, says he, here on the droughted land. At night, I make my way in troubled dreams down the path to the well, through charred scrub oak, down to the spring, and there I dip my pail. Its coyote calls me out of bed. He leads me by the waning moon, and there we drink the stars and speak of things unsaid. Soon, says he, soon, the world is breaking. That's it.
It's beautiful. Thank you. Now, I think we've been around a couple of times, right? So I think maybe we would like to hear Melissa again, right? Lois, do you have another?
Can I read a poem, a short one?
Absolutely. Oh, sure. Karen. But can you close with a song too? With another song?
She's asking if you
When we close?
Oh, we have to go set it up. We left the piano and everything, so probably not.
It's okay. Just read the poem.
Okay.
Thank you, my
Actually,
darling.
this is a poem that I did put to music, but I'm just going to read the poem. It's how I feel right now. It's called Thanks at the End of My Day. Though many ships pass through the night, from uncertain origins to unknown sights, and a brutal sea is rough on me, a bitter wind can do me in. Yet, when nighttime falls to darkness and dreamy, and I trust my dear friends are all tucked in neatly, I think to myself of what I've become, of the kind words I've said, and the good deeds I've done. So at last, when I set my ear to my pillow, I'm grateful. It's just as tired and sleepy as I am.
Yeah.
I love that, Karen. I love that.
Yeah.
That was wonderful. I felt myself breathe for the first time today. Thank you. I actually said, oh, I'm breathing now. That was so lovely. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Karen. Beautiful. Flavia, do you have another poem?
Yes, if you want. Isn't it too late for poems? No? 2 o'clock.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
For you, you're in Canada, so I think it's probably the latest for you, right? What time is it with you?
2.
Two? Only 2? Oh, the night is
2.
Oh.
2 a.m.
Must be in Toronto.
No, north of Montreal. Okay, here is another one. I gathered it all. I gathered it all in pairs. 2 water glasses, 2 tablespoons, 2 snowy fluffy pillows, 2 soup plates, 2 dinner dishes, crystal goblets, several porcelain, always 2 of everything. I filled up cupboards, entries, days, carefully, bashfully, year after year, instant to instant. I lived with twin images in mind. I breathed to silences. I cried to tears, one for you. I adored symmetry. Just one thing is missing. You, the one who should have turned up at dawn when the pale moon roused the lark gently from sleep. Thanks.
Thank you. Thank you, Flavia. Well, I think with Lois, do you have another?
I vote for Melissa.
You vote for Melissa?
Yeah.
Yes, I think we all vote for Melissa.
One final one from her, maybe, if she'd like to.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you so much for staying this late too.
Oh, my pleasure. It's just been so wonderful to hear everyone read and sing. So the last poem I'm going to read is called When the Bird Song Rings Human. And it's part of a collection of poems that are in response to, I'm so tired, I'm not even talking right anymore. In response to the Conference of the Birds, which, as you probably know, is an ancient Sufi text. And there's a composer who was actually here earlier tonight who did musical pieces in response to it. And then I wrote poems in response to that to be performed with the music. So this is one of them.
Wow.
It's been great. It's been a lot of fun doing that.
Yeah.
Yeah. When the bird song rings human. When the bird song rings human, the hoopy bird forgets its tongue, like a time traveler, accidentally leaving a glove in a year that hasn't happened. The tongue wanders strange gray streets, its sour and sweet buds lit up with the hoopy's hunger, glowing like a jellyfish in the rain. Now the tongue knows no house can promise safety, not the sheath of mouth, not even the body, which laughs at the body of time, stretched like a poolside lizard across dimensions. The tongue bellows for the hoopy across the green. The hoopy hears what he thinks is an echo, not blazing, but persistent, ever present, a little fuzzy, like a radio that's not coming in well, or the hum and buzz of the street lamps and telephone wires he knew in that other world. Everything the bird means to say turns ancient at the root and falls off. Because God is not a clock nor a sundial reaching forward with narrow arms. God is a million tiny pieces, like glitter or destiny, breaking flesh into astonishment, breaking pain into daggers of light. The end.
Oh, hell.
Now everyone can exhale. I got to hear that poem when it was just done. And Mel, it sounds as wonderful now, even I think more. It's so, thank you.
Thank
My folks, you are with an exquisite poet. RB, it's so good. One quick question, Melissa. Saw you in the summer. We've been so busy, had the time to barely talk. How the hell did you get younger?
What?
How did you get younger from the summer?
I didn't. Trust me,
Yes,
I did
you
not.
did.
No, thank you though. I really appreciate that.
Thank you for coming tonight. This was just amazing. I got it all on video. I kept that one too. We got it all together. Yeah, yeah.
Nice.
All right, let me let people tell you how wonderful you are. Let's shut up.
Wow, thank you. It's, yeah.
Everybody was amazing tonight, and thank you, Melissa. And it all worked out. You know, the ID and the password saved the night.
Yeah, it was worth all the obstacles to get here. It was really soul and life affirming to be among you all tonight.
Wow, you are incredible. And what a, I mean, what an oasis this is. What a family we are, really. Family of poets.
And Melissa, let me say to everybody so they can agree that Penn, for winning the Penn Award, I'm so proud of you, RB.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Oh, wow.
So what award?
Penn Award. Yay.
Oh, thanks, y'all.
Did they give you a
Yeah.
pen? Did they give
Wow.
you a pen?
No.
Did you get a Mont Blanc?
No, I didn't. But they sent me money.
That's good. You can buy
Hey,
a
that's a
pen.
good thing.
Yeah.
You buy her own pen.
You know, it's funny that said that, Melissa, when I was talking to my therapist this week, you know, when I found that I mentioned it, and she said the same thing. What kind of pen does she get? I'm like, oh my God, we're done. I said, we're done. I'm hanging up the Zoom call. Forget it. Goodbye.
Actually, I would be really neat if they sent me a pen.
When I thought, you know, when I first heard about it, I thought they actually did like an honorarium too. It wouldn't be a bad idea. We'll have to turn that screw tight. See what they say.
I mean, I don't know how other writers feel, but I really am particular about my pens. You know,
Oh, yeah.
all a good pen.
That's wonderful. Congratulations.
Love got me hooked on fountain pens and yeah.
That's
Wheels.
So, Melissa, what's your favorite fountain pen?
Oh gosh, you know, I don't know what they're like, what the name of the pen is. I can show them to you, but I have different colors with all different colors of ink.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
I made a deal with myself that if ever I won a poetry award, whenever that happened, I would buy myself a fountain pen.
Nice. They're the ones I have
did
aren't
win a poetry award.
Sorry?
I'm sorry. You did win a poetry award.
Yeah, and I did buy myself a fountain.
Okay.
So what kind did you get?
I got the Lummy.
Okay.
It's a lower end, but you know, I have in mind the Mont Blanc das Meisterstück.
I have a Mont Blanc. I have a Mont Blanc. You have to.
Mont Blanc is like the Rolls Royce of pens.
I have one.
Oh yeah.
He's got very good taste.
I have one, and the way you fill
have
it up.
two.
God, I need to
I'm
get
jealous.
one now.
Oh, can I get your addresses before we say goodbye?
I've been to Mont Blanc, but I don't have a Mont Blanc.
I have two.
Oh,
Give me one.
One was a red one given to me as a Christmas present, but the other one is stainless steel, and it's really quite amazing. When I was working at the Cheesecake Factory, this man
Yeah, I have one. Father gave it to me.
just walked in. I mean, he was a regular, and one day he walked in, and he said, "Oh, here, we were just in Switzerland, and we got a bunch of these," and he just gave me a Mont Blanc.
Oh my.
Nice.
There you are.
How much are they? Aren't they like a couple $100 or something?
Oh no, Lois, they are, you know, dollars figure. Go ahead, Claire, you tell us.
Oh, what?
1,000?
I'm just holding up my Mont
they
Blanc.
run?
It's not the fountain pen. I have a fountain pen, but this is a Mont Blanc, just a regular.
All right, but the fountain pen, you know, they kind of start around $500.
Really?
Go up from there.
They go up to $10,000. Rick just found one. 10 grand.
Wow.
Somebody stole my first one.
Oh, geez.
Out upon them.
That's like.
Yeah. He found one for $23,000 just now.
Oh my God! Yeah, the older ones, the original ones. Yeah, the first ones are just they're like I said, they're Rolls Royce.
Wow.
Have a ballpoint one?
Claire, you just won an award, didn't you?
Who?
Claire, didn't you just?
I just got nominated for a postcard.
I have it just stuck in my nose.
Congratulations.
Congratulations. Lois, I'm sorry you said hello and I was so 15 texts going, trying to get logged on and stuff. Lovely to see you as always. Wonderful to hear your work. I'm also so proud of you. You've done so much this year. We've all, let's pat ourselves.
I survived this year. That's about all I've done.
I don't know. I think we're all excelling, and I'm so proud of you all. I mean, these challenging times, I think we've just moved forward. We've just rose above this miasma. Just throw for everybody. Please don't stop.
Here,
No,
RJ.
Thank you for introducing me to Melissa. So.
Thank you, Melissa. A delight to hear from you.
Thank you, Melissa.
Sorry, I'll talk again.
You can stay here, but I'm going to stop recording now.
I haven't opened the box yet.
Right? If I can see. But we can chat.
All right. Thank you, Elena.
Good night, everyone.
Great. Good night.
Bye, RJ.
What a delight. Good to see you all.
Thank you.
Happy trails to you.
Until we meet again.
I also want to say,
Happy
Flavia, it was
trails
lovely to
to
see you too.
Where is the recording? I'll stop recording.
Should be on the bottom again.
Got it. I got it. Stop
Well, thank
recording.
goodness we got that song.